guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do the final update, to an extremely popular video series I started about 7 weeks ago, titled "Man Calls Off Engagement to Fiancée After Ugly Details of Her Past Came Out." And in that story, guys, a quick recap, because it's been a while since I did the final update to this. It's about the guy who was with his girl for probably 4 or 5 years, I think 4 actually. And it got to the point that he proposed to her, thought she was the one to marry, and thought everything was going great. Until one day, he found out some very ugly details about her past, and obviously she's been lying to him, etc., etc. And in that story, he finds out that the guy, the couple that they used to hang out with, the guy who he thought was a friend, was actually her ex-boyfriend, who she wanted to marry. And the entire 4 years they were together, they were hanging out with this dude and his girlfriend, and he even became, was going to be in his wedding and all that. And he found out that she'd been lying the whole time, right? So as you can imagine, this is a guy who already had issues with marriage and commitment, all that. He ended it with her. He was walking away, right? In part 2, pretty much she has a meltdown, and this guy goes to his dad, who definitely is an old school masculine guy, wondering, did I make a mistake? And his dad literally smacked him upside the head to knock some sense in him, saying, you're out of your mind to go back with her, blah, blah, blah. And more details come out about the story, and you find out, but the whole time she denies anything's going on, even though all us guys in the audience knew something was going on. There was no way. She kept him around on purpose. We all knew that, right? Because she wanted to marry him. You're going to see this guy starts hanging out with the girlfriend of that guy called Belle, and they start having a good time together, and the audience says, hey, you got to be sleeping with Belle. Well, next thing you know, the next story, he is now, afterwards, having some, I guess, revenge fun with Belle, and the truth came out about the ex, that she was, in fact, hooking up with that dude, even though she had denied to the end. And even this guy's mother and her mother tried to convince him to go back to her, even though you couldn't trust her, and she was a liar and all that. So he left off where pretty much he's done with her. Even his own mother finally learned the truth about her own mother, and the girl pretty much just disappeared, made a big drama scene, has been hiding away in her bedroom. It's a big drama fest. This is like a freaking soap opera. But anyhow, we are on to the final update here with events that have happened since. Okay, and as a interesting bonus here, this guy's father, who you all nicknamed Papa Smack, because he literally smacked some sense in him, left a note for me that his son wanted for me to read to you guys, as well as this Belle girl message to me too. So it's definitely a little change in the direction of things. These types of videos I do. So it picks up. He says, "Hello SSM and the community. I didn't expect to have any more updates for my story, but the last month has been interesting, and after the help you all given me, I figured it'd be only fair to share with the updates." It's amazing, guys, but with these wacko girls and these stories, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, because they don't stop. There's always something new to share because they don't back down. It's amazing. It's a gift that keeps on giving for me, to be able to have good content for videos. It's the gift that keeps on giving for you guys to enjoy it. Not necessarily the gift that keeps on giving for the dudes that have to deal with this bullshit, but it seems like he's actually kind of having fun with this at this point. Okay. It says, no matter what else happens, I'll be closing this chapter of my life and moving on. Again, I want to thank everyone for the advice and the proverbial smacks you've given me. Also, after watching the video, Belle wanted to fill in some blanks in the story from her side, so that will be a little further down the road. Belle says hello, by the way. Hello, Belle. If memory serves, the last part of my story ended with showing Rachel and my mother the evidence that she was lying to everyone, and Rachel running out of my apartment. It was that evening that Belle and I spent our first night together, and SSM, Belle couldn't stop laughing when you put your hand up and said high five in the third video. If you guys recall, pretty much all you guys are saying, this dude ought to be hooking up with Belle. And he and Belle got together and watched my videos, and pretty much she was like, okay. So never did I believe this channel would actually be helping guys get laid, but you know, hey, y'all say I'm doing God's work, so I think I am. Over the following week, we spent a lot of time talking and spending time with each other, and we're having a great time. We're still both taking our time and not rushing into anything, but like Belle said, life is short and there's nothing wrong with being happy. Life is short and there is nothing wrong with being happy, but take your time. You've been engaged with this broad, for the old broad Rachel, for like 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. Take your time. There's no rush. And that goes to both of you. I mentioned at the end of the video that Belle had an idea of setting up our relationship status to the relationship, and I figured that would be some flack at some point. But it was later the same day. Rachel started leaving some pretty nasty messages on my phone accusing me and Belle of cheating on her and Eric the whole time. She was getting pretty unhinged, so I ended up blocking her number off on all my social media accounts. And I'm not going to lie, that her being angry and hurt weren't worth it. It was. After what she put you through, darn right. And this guy at the end of the last video said, maybe just for fun, I'm going to put on Facebook that Belle and I are in a relationship, just to mess with her. And that's exactly what happened. And see, she used this as an excuse to say, see, they're cheating all along, so therefore I'm justified my actions, even though these guys obviously had nothing going on. The Belle girl was loyal to the other guy, and this dude was loyal to his girl, but when it comes to cheaters and liars, they assume everybody else is like that, and they use that to justify their own actions. So no surprise here, she had a freaking meltdown. And you should have blocked her before, so don't have any contact with her anymore, dude. It was towards the end of the week that I got a visit from Rachel's dad. Belle and I were watching a movie when someone knocked on my door. At first, I thought it might be Rachel, and I got off my phone and prepared to call the cops. When I looked through the peephole, I saw her dad standing on my stoop, and I let him come in. He looked completely embarrassed, but he said he's always been nice to me, and I offered him a seat. He told me about the day Rachel and her mother came over to try and fix things. Apparently, Rachel had been telling them both that I was overreacting and was being unfair, and they believed her. If you guys recall in the other stories, the girl was putting on the full-on theatrics that she's innocent, wasn't doing anything. This guy was overreacting when he found out that all this time that dude he'd been hanging out with is her ex. But we all know, turns out she was sleeping with him the whole time. I said before she was a great actress. It was when his wife came home with a crying Rachel that she told him what happened about the pictures I showed her. She explained how Rachel and Eric had been cheating on me through the entire relationship and how terrible she felt about the time she spent trying to convince me she wasn't doing anything wrong. That Rachel girl, this dude's ex, does not feel bad. But yeah, you all remember that he got a hold of some pictures and everything that they had because this girl got so pissed off at him. She was like, fine, we were cheating on you the whole time, and sent him pictures. Or I think sent the girl Belle pictures, which he got a hold of, and presented it to his mom. And her mom saying, see, I'm not overreacting. She was cheating on me the whole time. Her dad said that he tried to talk to Rachel to find out why she did it, but she wouldn't talk to anyone and kept herself locked in her room. Grow the hell up. What a spoiled brat. And this guy's never going to get a straight answer from her why she did it. Never. It was the third day of that when she got fired from work for not calling in and not showing up. Ha ha, bitch. After that, her mom made her go to the doctors and they prescribed some antidepressants and suggested that she get counseling. She doesn't need antidepressants. She doesn't need counseling. She just needs to stop being a fucking bitch. Problem solved. But no amount of counseling or drugs is going to change her ugly nature. Her dad said she's going to start counseling soon, but I told him I was sorry for everything ended, but she was no longer my concern. Good for you. I asked him why he was in my apartment after I told his wife that I didn't want to see any of them again, and he apologized, but he said that he couldn't let things between him and me end that way. He told me how much he respected me and how sorry he was for how his daughter had treated me. Then he surprised me. He pulled out a cashier's check for $2,000 and handed it to me. He said he couldn't let me get stuck paying for the deposits that I lost when it was his daughter that screwed everything up. At first, I turned down the offer, but he wasn't having any of it. I think I'll remember what he said for the rest of my life. The dad says here, he said, Scott, not my real name, you're a good man and you've treated my daughter with love and respect that she didn't deserve. You would have made a wonderful addition to my family, and I'm sorry that you'll never be my son-in-law. I was looking forward to spoiling the grandkids that you would have given my family, and I'll miss the time we spent together. Even though my daughter doesn't deserve to have you in her life, you will always be welcome to go fishing with me, and I hope you do. You might not be my son-in-law, but I will always see you as a son, and I'm sorry for everything. Please accept this money from me and from my wife as a little compensation for how you've been treated. Wow. That was really nice of him. And again, it was the father and the brother that he found out about, obviously, that this dude was not just some guy who was a friend. He was actually her ex. You know, it's funny, guys, with these stories I do. So many times it's the father of these women the wives or girlfriends that do these awful things to these good men, then end up going to the guy and feeling really bad about it. But it's the mothers. You never hear anything from the mothers, or rarely. They usually either twist it around and make their daughter not so much the villain, or they don't say anything. So once again, it's the father who's being honorable here. He says, I'm not going to lie, I choked up a little and accepted the money. He stayed and we talked a little more, and before he left, he apologized to Belle for how Rachel's actions affected her relationship as well. After he left, Belle and I talked for a long time, wondering how such a sweet man could respond to such an evil woman. It doesn't make any sense, but very few things in life do. Well, she probably took after her mother, and maybe this guy was too good to her growing up. Maybe he spoiled her a little too much, but also probably, I'm going to assume this Rachel chick was good looking, because I don't think my man here would be dating some ugly chick. So probably a whole lifetime of guys treating her like she's special, put her on the pedestal, made her think that she can act such a way. That happens. It's kind of like connected to the hot crazy scale in a way. After he left, Bill, I read that part. It was the following day I stopped by my dad's place. He says, Papa Smack, and told him everything that was going on. But he knew about Belle before I told him. He saw the third video. He asked me a lot of questions about her, and I told him how long we've been friends and how we were doing with our healing. He agrees with you to take my time, and that's what both of us are doing. Yes, listen to your old man. Neither Belle nor I are in a rush for anything right now, and we're just enjoying one day at a time while we figure out our lives. The sad thing is that she's shown me more consideration in a week than Rachel did in 4 years. Let's make sure it stays that way. It says, SSM, my dad has a personal message for you. He made me write it down so I wouldn't screw it up, so here it is. And you guys will love this. His father says to me, this is Papa Smack that you all nicknamed in the comments section. Papa Smack says, SSM, I love the service you provide for young men struggling to find their way in relationships and dating. One of the reasons I enjoy your content is you give some of these men the smacks they need to wake up. I have a lot of respect for your work you do and how dedicated you've been to posting a video every day. I think you found your calling, so please don't give up. There are boys out there that need this information so they can become men. So what I say next, I say with love and respect. If you don't start selling t-shirts or hoodies with smack on them, I'm going to hunt you down and find you. And if I'm going to find out if your mother let you eat paint chips when you were a kid. All of my friends want one, and I'm pretty sure your community would love to have some smack swag. Get on it, young man, and don't make me come looking for you. Papa Smack. Well, Papa Smack, you'll be happy to know that on July 1st, it'll be the grand opening of the SSM store, if you will. I'm doing all the behind-scenes work right now, getting that all set up, getting the designs for the t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, hats, mugs, all sorts of shit. That's going to have SSM logos and catchphrases, and of course, smack, the number one thing you all were requesting. So it's already in the works. So July 1st will be the big announcement, and you guys can get all the smack merchandise you all want. I did a little post last week on YouTube, and some of you guys saw it, but now you all know the official thing. But anyhow, thank you very much for the kind comments, sir. Appreciate it. Anyhow, he says, so that was about 3 weeks ago. Since then, my life has gotten back to a new kind of normal, and I'm enjoying each day as it comes to me without any expectations. Good, bro. You're not going to get over this overnight. Like I said before, you take your time, and you will heal. And don't rush things with Belle, or if it doesn't work out with Belle, with any other chick that comes along the way. I did get some text messages from some of Rachel and my mutual friends saying some pretty bad things about me for cheating on Rachel. Oh, for God's sakes, you weren't cheating on Rachel. Any of these so-called friends of yours, mutual friends between you and her, that still after all this shit are taking her side, cut them off. You don't need that bullshit in your life. You're not going to heal and move on with that kind of crap, okay? Just fuck them. Done. I guess she's been telling everyone that Belle and I have been cheating on her and Eric. Those messages stopped when I forwarded the email she sent to Belle. I didn't send the pictures because I don't know the laws for revenge, PORN. Most of these friends apologized to me for the things they were saying, and I haven't heard anything else from them. Well, it's nice they apologize, but how about they believe you in the first place? Cut them off. You don't need that shit. Belle and I have been friends for about 3 years, and we're taking our time to learn more about each other and having a wonderful time doing so. Again, I want to thank you and the community for all of the well wishes and great advice. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the charity from strangers on the internet. Belle wanted to fill in some blanks, so I'm letting her take it from here. Forever grateful, Scott. Well, Scott, because I know that's your code name, great job. You're doing awesome. Like I said, take it one day at a time. Cut that crazy bitch Rachel out of your life. Block her, all that. If she starts bugging you again, a restraining order. Cut off those people that don't believe you after all this stuff. Be a good son to your dad. Buy him a 6-pack. In fact, you got to buy your dad a freaking keg after that, the help he's given you. And take things one day at a time and you will heal. I want you on your grind. I want you on your purpose. Doing better with your job. Staying in good health. And you're going to be fine. Now we got the message from Belle. Belle says, hello SSM. And I get a big girly smiley face, which shows she's feminine. Good sign there. Belle here. I want to thank you for sharing Scott's story and for all the advice that you and your community gave him. I've shared the videos with my friends and family, and they all got a lot of laughs from your narration, especially my older brother who chased Eric away when he started pestering me after I broke up with him. Yes, share me with other girls that are like-minded. We need more girls out there can realize the damage that the crazy effinists are causing, and we need more feminine, girly girls out there with a good attitude. So spread the word. I guess the first place I came into the story was the evening we were having dinner with Scott and Rachel when Scott asked me, Scott's the so-called friend of this guy's ex. Oh, excuse me, not Scott. Scott's this dude. That's the code name. I get mixed up with all these freaking code names here. When Scott asked me if I knew that Eric and Rachel had dated for 3 years before she started dating him, I can remember how pissed I was when he asked me that. Not because of anything Scott did, but because I had been suspicious of Eric and Rachel's relationship. He told me that they were just old friends, but I always thought they were a little too friendly with each other, and I talked to Eric about it several times. It was always the same excuse. She's just a friend. You don't have anything to worry about. I don't like her like that, etc., etc. The evening we were having dinner, I left Scott's apartment. Eric was trying to convince me that the relationship they had was a long time ago and it didn't matter. I hate liars, and I hate when people treat me like I'm stupid. When we got home, I told him to tell me everything, and he said that they dated over 4 years prior, but were never serious with each other. Look at this, lie after lie after lie. He said he liked her as a friend, and when he wouldn't propose to her, she broke up with him. I was still angry about being lied to, but it was 4 years ago, and other than having a feeling they were too friendly, I let it go with the condition that he cut off all contact with her. He agreed and blocked her and everything right in front of me. Which would probably mean when the second that she left, he would then unblock her. I thought it was taken care of, and he started love bombing me, and a few days later proposed to me. Oh, for God's sakes. I told him I needed to think about it, but I wanted to talk to my dad and get his opinion first. It was between the proposal and me talking to my dad that Rachel sent me an email telling me about their 4-year-long affair. This Rachel chick is evil. But then again, she provided the evidence, which helped our hero Scott here. I have no idea how she found out that he proposed to me, but she was furious and really nasty. Of course she's furious because he's the one she wanted to marry to begin with, but he wouldn't marry her. I showed Eric the email she sent, and he was furious. He unblocked her number and called her up, cussing her for being a B-word and trying to ruin his relationship. Misery loves company. In the few years we've been together, I never seen him that angry before, and he was telling Rachel on the phone that she knew she was lying and only trying to break us up. That's when she sent me the pictures of the two of them doing some pretty crazy things. Define crazy. Y'all can email me privately because now I'm curious. When I showed him the pictures of his face went white as a ghost, and he started calling her a lying W-H-O-R-E, and that it wasn't what I thought. What do you mean it wasn't what you thought? There was pictures of him and her rolling in the hay. What do you think, she photoshopped and put his face on somebody else's body? He said they were old pictures, but when I looked at the priorities of the pictures, the properties of the pictures, they had been taken the previous month. I was done. I called him a bastard and started packing up my things while he was begging me not to leave, while at the same time cussing out Rachel on the phone for ruining his life. By the time I was finishing packing my clothes, he was crying and swearing that he would never do anything like that again. This guy's a bitch. I'm not sure if I was more angry or disgusted, but I was done with him. I left the apartment and went to my parents' house to tell them what had happened. It took both me and my dad to keep my brother from going over there and redecorating the apartment with Eric's face. That's what older brothers are for. That was the night I called Scott to tell him what happened, and after I sent him the email and pictures to him, we talked for a little while about everything. I suggested we go to dinner the next day so we could compare notes to see what else they were lying about, and he agreed. See, guys, both parties were really hurt by these two assholes. And so this is how these two are clicking now, because they're both healing together, if you will. That was the night when Scott called me to tell me what happened, and after I sent the email pictures, we talked for a little, blah, blah, blah. I read that part. When we met for dinner, I could tell Scott was as messed up as I was, and we spent most of the dinner realizing how both of us had been played for fools. I've known Scott for a little while, more than 3 years, and he's always been respectful towards me and never done or said anything that was out of line. He's a good guy. It was almost a week later when I got a call from Scott telling me about Rachel, her mom, and his mom had come over to try and work things out, but showed him all the proof that she had been cheating on him, and he said Rachel ran out of his apartment crying. That was a funny part of the video I did in the last one. I wanted to know what happened, and I was feeling worthless, so I suggested I come over and cook dinner so he could give me all the details. I'm not sure if I was looking for some kind of closure or if I just wanted to hear about Rachel's life getting destroyed. Honestly, it was probably a little bit of both. I'm glad you can admit that, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to admit that. We like to see a-holes go down. When I went to Scott's place that night, we had cooked dinner together while he told me about everything that had happened. I'm not generally a vindictive person, but I got a lot of pleasure in hearing what had happened. It was after dinner that Scott told me he sent our story to you and that you made some videos about it. He pulled them up on his computer and we spent a long time laughing at everything. It's a strange sensation to hear your story told by someone else. Then we spent some time going through the comments and we're laughing at a lot of them. You mean like the 1,000 comments there must have been on each one of those videos? Guys, you did a great job with helping these two out. It was when I saw one of the comments, sorry that I can't remember the poster, that said that he should have hooked up with me or something like that, and my brain clicked, why not? Scott is a great looking guy, he's in excellent shape, and he always treated me with respect. A girl could do a lot worse, and after Eric, I knew that I already did. So, one thing led to another, and we had a fun evening together. It's been a long time since anyone had made me feel important, and I don't regret anything we did. See you guys, thanks to your comments, Scott got some ass. Good job, Scott. And good job, Belle. I wasn't in a rush to jump into a relationship with anyone, but spending time with Scott has been comfortable. We decided that we were going to take our time without any expectations, and that's what we've been doing. Before I left his apartment, I suggested that we change our relationship status to in a relationship, and I did it to hurt Rachel the way she hurt me. It worked. It hurt her, but unfortunately she was trying to use it real quick to probably justify her actions, say, see, they were cheating the whole time, but, the hell with her. That was the part of my story for now. Scott and I are just enjoying each other's company and seeing where the wind blows. As for myself, I know I'm still getting over everything that happened, but Scott has reminded me what it feels like to be around someone who appreciates me. Thank you for sharing our story, SSM. I've shared the videos with all my friends, and they all want to meet Papa Smack. Scott is taking me over to his house this coming weekend for a cookout, so I'll get a chance to meet him, and I'm looking forward to it. And to the poster that suggests that Scott and me hook up, it was a great suggestion. With love and appreciation, Belle. Well, Belle, I'm glad you sent in your side of the story. And just like I told Scott, I know Scott's his code name, and I'm sure Belle's your code name too. Whatever your name is, yeah, take it slow. There's no rush. The problem is people rush things too much. They think they're getting old and all that, but you guys got some healing to do. Have a good time, no expectations, and see where it goes. But if you're with this dude, I want you, if he's on his grind, on his purpose, I want you to be supportive of that. I don't want you to turn into one of these crazy effinists that I talk about in my videos. Keep being the cool girl that seems like you are, and all that, and all should be well. But anyhow, guys, great story here. I don't think we're going to be hearing from these two again, but you never know. It could be a final update. We shall see. But anyhow, a great story, and I wish you all the best. Great story there. And again, tell your old man, dude, that the merchandise is coming. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy and his dad and Belle all know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.